to come together once again to conduct the city's business. Lord, we pray for your divine presence in this meeting. We pray that we come together in the spirit of unity. Even though we may disagree on issues, help us not to be disagreeable. We pray for your covering and protection over our armed forces members who are serving abroad and at home, and a special covering of our police and fire departments. Watch over them, Lord, as they watch over us. So carefully give you the praise, the honor, and the glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson is absent. Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Firstner?
Here.
Commissioner Hart?
Here.
Good evening. Before we get started, I want to introduce our new law firm. We just had tonight's their first night with us. It's Fishback and what is it? Dominic.
Fishback Dominic.
Fishback and Dominic. This is Kurt Arneman, who's been around West Orange County. You're pretty much from West Orange County.
Of course, fourth generation.
Yeah, there you go. And Mr. Geller. Sure. So we want to welcome them aboard. So it's a new era here with that. So let's get going here. So, all right, we got presentations and proclamations. I got one, if I can find it. Is it under yours? No, wait a minute. This is, no, this. Nope. Melody? Okay, sorry about that. This is about September 11th, never forget. Whereas the earth shook on September 11th, 2001 from an assault on the United States of America. And whereas the democratic freedoms we all share were attacked by terrorists from afar, and whereas nearly 3,000 perished in the attack, with more than 400 of those being first responders who sacrificed their lives in an attempt to save others, all innocent victims of an evil beyond our comprehension. And whereas this loss of life and the savagery of the attack on the icons of our freedoms have left few Americans untouched. And whereas we want to reach out to those families that have been sacrificed for a meaningless representation of a radical political view, and whereas our standard has been one nation under God, and we should stand up for our right and freedom with God's guidance. And whereas these terrorists must be shown what freedom means to Americans, including the right to worship our God without fear of intimidation. And whereas in memory of those we lost on the tragic day, we pray to never see a day like this again, and know the American spirit can never be broken, and the unbreakable spirit lives on today in the courage of the first responders who safeguard our city each day, and the patriotism that lives on in the citizens of our great community. Now therefore, the City Commission of the City of Ocoee, Florida proclaims that September 11th, 2023 be known as a day of prayer, remembrance, and rededication to patriotism and love for our country that will be recognized forever. Chief of Police, will you come take this, please? We're going to give it to the police and the fire department. They're both here. So, did we get anybody to take their picture, Melanie? Okay, have her. Well, we'll stand up behind here. Come on in, Silver. You get it?
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's fast.
Don't waste no time on them pictures. The other one is we also have one, I won't be reading it tonight though. It's the National Assisted Living Week, September the 10th through the 16th. All right, presentation of charter review timeline. City Attorney Geller.
Good evening, everyone. This is the last meeting that the commission is getting together before the deadline of September the 14th, 2023, for giving comments and recommendations to the Charter Review Commission. And so this commission, City Commission, has a number of options tonight. Number one, you all can decide that tonight will be the last the last time that you will offer comments and recommendations to the Charter Review Commission, or you could schedule a special meeting for such purpose anytime on or before September 14, 2023, and or you could decide that individual commissioners between tonight and September 14th will submit any additional comments or recommendations in writing. They can go to the city clerk and she can provide them to the Charter Review Commission. So those are the three ways you can go tonight. Regardless, I would suggest that the commission allow members of the public to offer their own comments and recommendations on the Charter Review proposed amendments, so that the public has an opportunity to give some meaningful input to this commission before you submit your comments. When the ordinance comes back from the Charter Review Commission under the existing charter, this commission must adopt it verbatim. So there would be, although the public can speak about it, this commission could not make any changes at that point. So this would be the last opportunity for members of the public to offer some comments that you all could take into consideration, and at your discretion, it may or may not reflect your comments and recommendations to the CRC.
All right. All right. Anybody in the public want to make any comments on the charter revision? How many articles were there? How many? 9?
There were 11 that were
11.
proposed.
Nobody? Well, they might not know what they are, so.
Would you like me to give
Just give an overview real quick of those.
Sure.
What we're doing.
Sure. The First Amendment is to Section C8 of the Charter to state that the city's powers shall be construed liberally in favor of the city to effect their intended purposes. The next is an amendment to Section C11, which would require a candidate for mayor or for city commissioner to be a resident of the city or of the district in which they're running for at least 1 year before they qualify. The next is a proposed amendment to Section C17, which would state that in the event that there is a vacancy in the office of either mayor or city commissioner, that the successor would be elected at the next regular or general city election. The next proposed amendment is to Section C18, which deals with an independent audit of the city's finances, and the proposal would extend the period when there must be a selection process for the auditor. Currently, it's 3 years. The amendment would extend it out to 5 years. The next proposed amendment is to Section C21, and that would authorize the City Commission, upon their unanimous approval, to reasonably extend the requirement that the city manager become a resident of the city of Ocoee within 1 year of beginning employment in that capacity. The next is a clarification. This is to Section C28. It clarifies that the city clerk's salary is subject to the city commission's budget approval. So it would be determined within the approval of the budget. The next is a proposed amendment to Section C45, which would create, or it would define the 3 different types of elections in the city: regular elections, special elections, and general city elections. Section C49 is the next proposed amendment. It would allow the City Commission to set the dates of elections and for qualifying periods by either resolution or ordinance. They would have discretion to do either. And then finally, Section C50, the proposed amendment, would appoint the city clerk to the city's election canvassing board, together with 2 other citizens, as well as 2 additional citizens who would be alternates, all appointed by the City Commission. That is it in a nutshell.
Okay. All right. I was asking you, do we go ahead and any more discussion to the commissioners? If not, we can make a motion on approving what you did. Anybody here tonight, I think they are, I see them, on the Charter Commission? Would you please stand, everybody that was on the Charter Commission? These are the citizens that was picked through the different districts in the area to be on the Charter Commission that came up with those rules and regulations that'll go in that charter. So once again, we want to thank you. Appreciate your time and effort. They met, 5 different times, meetings, stuff, and did a great job coming through that. So we appreciate it very much. Any of you want to make comments on it, you're welcome to. All right? Thank you. Once again, thank you. All right, commissioners, we need a motion, or if you want discussion, to approve the charter revision.
Well, there were comments last time.
Yeah.
And so the comments from the last meeting were transcribed by the clerk's office, and I actually went over them and along with the video of it.
Right.
And so those comments from the last meeting will go to the Charter Review Commission, and they'll take that under advisement and perhaps making some revisions.
All right, we need to approve this, so I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to go with option A, which is to approve this as the last time the commission may make comments. I've made all my comments.
All right, Commissioner Kennedy made the motion.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Hart. Any more comments? All right, if not, let's vote.
Okay.
Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner
Wilson.
out sick. All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you again. We appreciate it. Staff reports and agenda.
Yes, Mayor. This evening, we do have an emergency item. You have a copy in front of you. It's entitled Approval of Additional Funds from Transportation Impact Fee to provide the required funding for Lennar Homes to facilitate the widening of Clark Road. You'll recall this was approved at some point last year. We had some pretty basic information at that time as far as to come up with the cost for the project. We're at the point where the rubber meets the road now. We have some pretty firm figures. We need to allocate that money so Lennar can continue on and begin the project. And the total that we're asking for is, I don't think they added it up for me here. It's $3,253,699.90, which is about $2.9 million in construction, and the rest is for contingencies in case we run into some unforeseen circumstances. This funding is available in impact fees and road impact fees, Mayor, so it won't affect next year's millage or anything.
Tell them the total.
Well, the original was around $4 million, 4.2, I think it was. So it's going to bring the total to about between $7 and $7.3 million to complete that segment.
So Clark Road will be getting going, if everybody knows that. It'll be widened to 4 lanes. Thank you. All right.
And that is totally funded by impact fees, so
Okay.
we're good.
We need a motion for this,
Yes.
guys, for this money.
I'll make a motion to approve the emergency item.
Motion made by Commissioner Ferguson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Hart. Any more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Wilson absent. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's all I had, Mayor.
All right, we're down to consent agenda. We need to pull, before we get to consent agenda, I got public comments. We got a couple here. I need one. Bill Maxwell. And I will tell you, we have 3-minute talk limit. I just want to remind, not just cause Bill's coming up. You're looking mighty sharp tonight, Bill.
Which one?
He likes to talk about it.
Good evening. Mayor, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Bill Maxwell, a resident of the city of Ocoee for the past 28 years. And my short purpose for being here this evening is to seek approval from the council, the commissioners and mayor on the selection of the next appointee for a vacancy that took place in the Ocoee Policeman Fireman Pension Trust Fund Board a short time ago. It's a critical position. I've outlined to the commission some of the criteria necessary that the selectee or the appointee should come imbued with, certified with, and ask that you look at those factors and look at the cost involved, look at the time that would be involved, that we would be without a qualified trustee. Florida statutes require the certification of each of the board members. The certification process is rather involved. It is one wherein there are only 2 school trainee sessions held annually, and it would put us in a position of being about a year and a half without 5 certified board members to look after a sizable fund as it relates to the Ocoee Policeman Fireman Pension Trust Fund. I will entertain questions at this point in time.
All right, I was gonna ask I know the city lawyers hadn't had time to get up on this yet, so what we need to do is get it verbal from commissioners and bringing it back and have it ready at the next commission meeting. Bill, is that fast enough in 2 weeks?
Yes, sir. We're meet on a quarterly basis, and our next quarterly meeting is scheduled for 2 November. That would give adequate time for the variance from the existing ordinance to be considered and voted on by the commission. That would put us within the time frame of convening our next meeting with a full board of trustees.
This way we find out which way we can do it. This is different. So if you guys can take this and see, this is one of the first ones you get to deal with. So it's a different way in the ordinance or they have to do. Rob, you got any comments on that?
No, Mayor, I think the way I read it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, this would require a change in the ordinance. There were no I haven't read through the whole ordinance yet. Is there an exception that the commission can waive the residency requirement for that 5th member?
I'm not totally familiar with the ordinance.
Okay.
But I believe the variance would not necessarily require a change, but an agreed to position on the part of the council to vary from that on this exception.
I think what we would need to do is get with the city attorney, Mayor, and if it does need the ordinance amended, is that something by consensus you want us to bring back to you?
Yeah, I think in 2 weeks.
Well, it's in a month.
A month? Did you say a month?
The
No,
next
we
meeting-
don't have a meeting in 2 weeks, so it would be a month.
14th, September 14th is a Labor Day.
Labor Day, okay, all right. All right, thank you very much. All right, Bill, they're gonna work on it and see if we can get it solved.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You might have set a record tonight.
Can't win. I have to take him back to my
Ooh. Yeah, that's a joke. He made me drive and they sit in the back, made me drive him around Montgomery, Alabama. All right, we're gonna get to the public comments. I got one here from Kelly Beck. Hey, how you doing?
Good evening. Perfect. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kelly Beck. I'm here regarding a item on the consent agenda tonight, which is the final site plan, I believe, for Magnolia Reserve. I have a number of residents from our community here because
Welcome.
we have some pretty significant concerns around this community. So for everyone up there, you should have a flyer. This is just a high-level overview of our talking points. There's also a QR code you can scan with your phone that will take you to a web page that doesn't want to scroll for me, but that walks through with imagery and in-depth our concerns regarding this community. So I want to start by saying we're not objecting to the land being developed. They have is it on this one?
Yes.
Thank you, much appreciated. They've purchased the land, they have a right to develop the land. What we're objecting to is the way it's being developed and their plan for moving forward. So we understand there's no choice about them going through the entrance to our community as it's currently identified. So you can see they come over the West Orange Trail. There's the signage for Greens at Forest Lake. They come into our community, past our amenities, and turn into their community. What we have concerns about is some of the ways this is being done. So for instance, 12 of their units, it wasn't on the original maps very clearly, are facing out onto Desert Candle. This is our biggest concern around this because with these 12 units, they're going to look really similar to ours. They have a similar color palette from what the developer had showed us. They have the pavers for driveways. There is going to be nothing that easily distinguishes for the homeowners that this is not part of Greens at Forest Lake, that this is a separate development with separate amenities, separate HOA, etc. If you scroll further down where I have amenity confusion on the site, you'll see our pool area. I'm standing where one of their driveways is going to be when I took that photo. And so this is going to result in significant confusion. We'd love to see a site plan where these are turned around, where instead of these houses coming out onto Desert Candle with their driveways, they're instead going into the Magnolia Reserve space. We also have concerns, and I see I'm at a minute, so I'll speed up, around the side street placement. Okay, thank you. With the side street placement for this community, it's not being lined up with Red Spruce Way. So Desert Candle goes down, has a sharp, hard right turn that is a blind curve. I've seen numerous accidents nearly happen there. And then it comes on the straightaway where Red Spruce comes onto Desert Candle. The streets are going to be offset from each other on the current plan. So there's an opportunity there where if that street was shifted to be a four-way stop, instead of having them off-centered, it's going to provide a safer space in the community in general. With the bike trail, we'd love to see something with a traffic camera there. We've already had at least 2 accidents that I know of where cyclists have been hit at that intersection. And this is adding an additional 25% traffic just based on home count to that intersection on a daily basis. With our amenities, we have upgraded our amenities. All of our residents invested their funds to put in $4,500 of security enhancements in the area because of issues we've had with the apartments, et cetera. And that's where it's very clear that they're not part of our immediate neighborhood. So we have a lot of concerns around what the expectations would be for us around that. Additionally, our community just finished. Our final houses finished in January. Jen was one of our last to join the community that bought a new home in our area. We're finally not living in a construction zone. And now we're reverting back to that with this development. We want to make sure that with only one entrance and exit for our community that this is done safely. Are we able to come and go? Are we going to be getting nails in our tires again? Is there going to be plastic and other construction debris floating everywhere? Many of us work from home or we have children that are in our homes, and now we have construction noise going on immediately behind our houses every day. So is the noise ordinance going to be enforced that they don't start before 7 a.m. and they're wrapping up within a reasonable time period? And then further down, I've already spoken with Commissioner Scott Kennedy about this. We have been pushing for this for, I think, nearly a year. We desperately need a light at the intersection of West Road and Fountains West Boulevard. I believe Commissioner Kennedy said that it's third on the planned list for City of Ocoee, but according to Orange County's traffic numbers for this, there are 20,000 vehicles a day coming down that section of West Road. And you have our community, you have the Arbors, you have Renaissance Charter School, and that Publix Plaza all exiting off Fountains West Boulevard. I cannot tell you with 4 lanes of traffic and no light how many times people are nearly getting hit there on a daily basis. And now we're adding another 50 units to that. And then finally, what I'd like to see the commission weigh in on is the possibility of conflicting HOA covenants. Our streets are not wide enough for safe street parking. We very tightly enforce the contract that all of our residents signed about street parking, because when you get 2 cars side by side street parked, you can barely get a small sedan through, let alone a fire truck, an emergency vehicle, etc. And with Magnolia Reserve, because again, this plan has them facing out onto Desert Candle, it has their street offset from ours, it looks like they're part of our neighborhood, it limits our ability to accurately enforce our covenant that all of our community members agreed to when purchasing their homes. Ideally, because again, I'm trying to be solution oriented, seeing this entire area designated a no street parking area so that it doesn't put us in a situation of having conflicting agreements where they're not enforcing, we are enforcing, and then we end up towing a vehicle that isn't even part of our community and it just results in drama. So again, they have a right to develop the land, but can they do so in such a way that doesn't conflict with our community that already lives here and the residents that are already part of the city of Ocoee?
All right. Are you the only one that's going to be speaking?
Yes, I'm speaking on behalf of all of these people.
That's a good thing.
Yes. I promised that I would get them here if you guys
That's
gave us
good.
the opportunity.
I would let them speak, but that's a better way to do it.
Yeah, all of these people, now, I mean, we want to run the meeting long, we can make that happen, but, but all of these people are here because we share
Yeah,
these
got it.
concerns about this plan and the impact to our community.
I was out there during election time. I talked to you.
Yes, sir, you did. And you
Understand
guys,
fully.
part of the planning committee
Yeah.
came out.
Yeah.
You guys came out and saw what it looks like, and it does, I understand, it was approved based on what you're seeing in aerial imagery and in maps, and it's a different reality when you're standing out there.
All right, let me have
Yeah.
our city planner make some comments and see what we can do.
Yeah, Mayor, I work a lot with Kelly, but yeah, and I think she was asking for this to be pulled and reconsidered, and I agree. There's some things that, I don't agree with all of those, but many of them, and there's some other things, so I would ask that we pull this item to bring it back to another date.
All right, is there a way that you can put them together and that?
Yes, Kelly, we did reach out to meet.
Oh,
We emailed you to meet.
yeah, so you emailed
So-
me earlier this week and asked that, to let me know this was on the consent agenda, so yes, we would love to meet
We'll
and move
meet.
that forward.
Yes.
I know Commissioner Kennedy probably wants to say something, but I would say that we want to do everything we can to make everything amicable for everybody, not just them and you and whatever it is, if we can. I know you talked about the sound. I know they're putting up those walls.
Love the sound walls, thank you, Ocoee and 429, the Expressway Authority, they make a significant difference,
The other
very
thing-
appreciative.
Yeah, the other thing I want to ask about is, Rob, the light on West Road. Is that?
Yeah, I was gonna, Mike, what is the status on that light? Was there a contribution by previous developers? Do we have that programmed in the 5-year?
Oh,
at
I've been
this point?
pushing, I've been in contact with Eugens with Orange County as well about that for the traffic warrant analysis that they were doing.
What is Mike?
Yes, sir, yeah. As part of the Arbor's PUD, they had a contribution to a future signal, which we do have in finance and account. And we are meeting with Orange County here coming up pretty quickly about roadway issues. And that's number 2 on the list is the future signal at Fountains West Boulevard. And we'll give them the amount that we have collected to date
All right, just
to
stay
go
there a
towards
minute,
that.
because I'm going to let Commissioner Kennedy have his say.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Appreciate your support, and Kelly, you did a great job. I am, as you know, I am going to request that this be pulled. I'd like to see, as the mayor said, you all work this out collaboratively and to the benefit of everyone. And I'm glad to know it's number 2. I guess I'm counting McCormick, which is not ours. That's a pop gut.
As number 1
Is number
priority.
2.
Oh.
So Ingram, McCormick, and then Fountains. So that's good news, and I'm glad this is going to work out.
Perfect, thank you so much. And then I didn't scroll to the last item, which was the privacy for those on Desert Candle. When you have two-story townhouses back to back facing each other, it's a
Looking
real
down.
interesting view right into somebody's home.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
appreciate it,
I
thank you
will-
so much.
I will tell you, you came well prepared with this. That's great.
I do
Most
project
times it's not that
management
way.
for a trade, so,
Yeah, you did a good job.
thank you so much, much
All right,
appreciated, thank you.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Come back again. All right.
You want me to make that?
Huh?
You
Yeah.
want me to make that? Okay.
Well, I'm gonna go to
You have more
consent
comments?
agenda, then I make the motion to pull it.
Okay.
We need a motion to pull it, man.
I'd like to make a motion to pull item 4 from the consent agenda and approve the other items.
All right. I'll second that. All right.
Oh, sorry.
We got a second.
And if I could interject here,
Yeah.
because I have a recommendation to pull number 11.
Well, we were gonna do
Okay.
that too, so we're not gonna pull it completely though, right? Are we taking it out tonight?
Well, at least to
Discuss.
discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay. So motion to approve consent agenda items 1 through 12, polling items 4 and 11, item 11 for discussion.
All right.
I'll second
There's a
that.
Seconded by Commissioner Hart. Any more comments on that? We need to vote on everything except 4 and 11. All right, let's vote. Motion carried on that. We need, that should come back in 2 weeks, we hope.
1 month.
A month, so if you count or put your plans on it, come back and see us in a month.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. All right. Let's see, all right, four's getting pulled all together. 11's, we need to go ahead.
All right. Let me address number 11 then.
We're gonna address number 11, so everybody, that's what's coming now.
All right.
You wanna read it
Number-
out to them?
Sure. Well, number 11 is a construction manager at-risk contract for the Floral Street Water Sewer and Road Reconstruction Project along Floral Street and North Cumberland Avenue. This is a proposed agreement with J. Maliver Construction Company, negotiating a guaranteed maximum price. And I just wanted to bring to your attention that in the event that there's any litigation over this, it says, in the event of suit, the sole and exclusive jurisdiction for and venue of such suit shall be in Lake County, Florida. Owner, that's the city of Ocoee, hereby waives for itself whatever rights it may have in the selection of venue. My suggestion is if they want to lay pipelines in the city of Ocoee, and if there's a dispute, we ought to resolve that dispute in Orange County.
Yeah, so how do we handle that?
Yeah.
So how?
This is actually not the contract, this is their proposal. We signed the city contract originally, this is just the bringing back of the GMP. So there actually is an overlying city contract for this bid,
There is?
yes.
Very good.
Okay, all right, then we can vote on it.
Then you can vote on it.
With the new contract. All right, who's gonna make the motion? Rob,
I'm confused.
you think that'll work or not? We wanna, Jamie, come back up a minute, we wanna make sure we get this right, because we don't wanna we
We
make
don't
this
have
motion on
that
this one
contract.
with Lake in it. So we need to redo it and re-say
Need to
it.
make a motion with a condition?
If you agree to the amount and the project amount in here, we can make sure that we cover what the attorney is concerned about, but I believe that our current contract does do that.
I'm sorry, can you hit that sound button there?
Yeah.
Well, it's actually on, I'll just talk a little louder.
Okay.
I would approve it, the project amount and the GMP amount, and allow the mayor to sign the contracts as necessary, because this is the first amendment to the contract, and just ask the staff to ensure that we follow our proper contract forms.
But do you want it just to be that approval subject to any confirmation and modification that venue will be in Orange County?
Yes.
That's what he
I
said.
am sure they are not going to have an issue with that.
Right.
Okay, yes, I'll make that motion to
Yeah.
approve item 11 with the condition that venue be Orange County and subject to other contract
All right, you
requirements.
second
of
it,
the
right?
city.
I'll second
Okay.
that. That'll work.
Any more comments on that? All right, let's vote. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it. Director, I'm sorry. Motion carries unanimous with Commissioner Wilson absent. All right. Now we're down to first reading of ordinance. We have any, none. Second reading of ordinance, public hearings. Second reading of ordinance for Flores property at 2121 Laura Beth Avenue, annexation and rezoning from Orange County, A1 to City of Ocoee, R1. Then we have also the rezoning.
There we go. Commissioners, this is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately .97 acres located on the east side of Lauren Beth Avenue, beginning approximately 217 feet north of Nicole Boulevard, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the update of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, and providing for an effective date.
All right, we're gonna open the public, you have one for the rezoning too? I need to read that.
Let me see. There we go. Thank you. The second is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County A1 Citrus Rural District to City of Ocoee R1 Single Family Dwelling District on certain real property containing approximately 0.97 acres located on the east side of Lauren Beth Avenue, beginning approximately 217 feet north of Nicole Boulevard, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
All right, we're gonna open the public hearing. Anybody in the public have any comments on item 13? Second reading of ordinance for Flores property at 2121 Laura Beth, and also the rezoning from Orange County. No comments? We'll close it and bring it back up to the dais. All right, anybody up here have any comments? Nope. All right. You got any? You thought I forgot you, didn't you? We didn't.
I'm sorry.
You want, you want to go ahead?
Yes, sir, thank you. Okay.
I'm still waning off that medicine, so forgive me.
2121 Lauren Beth Avenue, and a request for annexation and rezoning. So the property is located on the on the east side of Lauren Beth, north side of Nicole Boulevard. It's about just under an acre in size. In accordance with our joint planning area agreement, the property is eligible for annexation because it's adjacent to the city. It's eligible for water service once the development behind it to the east of it comes in line. And it also serves to eliminate an enclave. This is an aerial of the property. It's currently developed with a single-family home. It's surrounded by a PUD and residential on the south, county to the west. It's surrounded by low-density residential, consistent with our future land use map in the JPA document as well. The DRC and PCC heard this item at their respective meetings and identified no issues and made a recommendation of approval. So staff is also recommending that the commission approve the annexation from Orange County to City of Ocoee and the rezoning from Orange County A1 to City R1 for the 0.97 acre property on 2121 Lauren Beth Avenue. Thank you.
I apologize. This is our zoning manager, Mrs. Whitfield. I apologize. All right, so now we can do the motion. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve
Now, this, what we're doing here, we're gonna do it on the annexation first.
annexation AX 052305 for the Flores property at 221 Lauren Beth
All
Avenue.
right, I need a second.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Hart. Any more comment? If not, let's vote. Carries unanimously with Commissioner Wilson absent. All right, now we're going to do the rezoning. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the rezoning application RZ 230505 Flores property at 2121 Lauren Beth Avenue.
All right, I hear a second.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Hart. Any more comments? No more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. Commissioner Wilson out. Thank you very much. All right, public hearings. 14, Covington Oaks Large-Scale Preliminary Subdivision Plan, Zoning Manager.
Thank you. So the issue before the commission is a large-scale preliminary subdivision plan for, called Covington Oaks. It's located at the property at 8667 80 Mims Road. It's approximately 9.9 acres in size for the development of a 17-lot, single-family detached residential development. So it's located on the north side of 80 Mims Road, about 1,600 feet from Apopka Vineland Road. As I mentioned, it's 9.94 acres in size. It's currently occupied by a single-family home, and the rest of the parcel is generally wooded. It does contain some wetlands in the north, and is part of the Ocoee Overlay District. The commission approved the rezoning from County A1 to, from City A1 to City R1A in October of last year. This is an aerial, again, just a single-family home and mostly wooded. It's R1A zoning. It's surrounded by R1A zoning with some county residential on the south. The low-density residential all the way around the property. And this is the subdivision plan. So you generally have a cul-de-sac that comes in off of 80 MEMS, and it makes this is called a mu, where the traffic goes around. It's kind of like a traffic circle. The lots are slightly larger than the minimum lot size of 9,000 square feet because it is going to be served on private septic. The private septic will be the more enhanced version that is more protective of the environmental sensitivities of the Ocoee study area. The development is complying with the requirement for the 35% open space because they're setting aside all of this area here on the north for to remain as it is, and their stormwater facility is here. So they're setting aside the 35%. This is a more zoomed in version. So at the 9.9 units per 9.9 acres, at 17 lots, you're looking at 1.7 units per acre. That's well below the maximum of 4 units per acre that's allowed in the LDR, future land use classification. This is the other half of it. The DRC considered this item at its meeting on June 29th, and the PCC heard the item at their July 11th hearing. Point of discussions is there's a drainage easement on the far north side, right along the property line. There's also a utility easement along the east side. Looking at the slide, this is the east side of the property. North is over here, and there's an easement here that needs to be protected. There's also an easement here for utilities. Between lots 16 and 15, which is address 1426 and 1428, there is an existing utility easement with an existing line that this project will connect to. So part of the condition that staff and DRC and PCC made is that the developer, when he comes in to connect the tie-in, he would have to coordinate with the property owners of 1426 and 1428, and then he would also bear the cost of any repairs that would be needed if there were any damages to that area. There are a few other things that need to be, some changes need to be made, and the last condition is that they resubmit a revised preliminary subdivision plan that satisfies all of staff's comments. Should the commission approve this preliminary subdivision plan before we actually place the commission sticker of approval, and then after that, they would be able to proceed forward to final engineering of the final subdivision plan. So with that, staff recommends that the City Commission approve the preliminary large-scale subdivision for Covington Oaks at 8667 80 Mims Road for the development of a 17-lot single-family detached subdivision subject to the conditions of the DRC and PCC. And a member of the development team is here.
All right, I'm gonna let him read the, okay, thank you. I'm gonna let you read the zoning on 14. You have that?
There's no
no
ordinance.
It's okay. All right, we're gonna open the public hearing. To who, if the person for that development's here wants to speak, please come up. You don't have to, but you can. I'm not gonna make it. All right. All right.
I'm sure glad those people were not here for mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen. All right. We're gonna bring, anybody else? We're gonna close the public hearing and bring it back to Dodge. All right, anybody up here on the podium want to say anything? Nobody. All right, we'll close that, and then I need a motion. Covington Oaks, large-scale preliminary subdivision plan.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Firstner. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Hart. Any more comments? No more comments, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Wilson out. All right, we go to number 15, public hearing to adopt the annual code enforcement abatement assessment resolution to clarify FY 224 non-ad valorem assessment tax roll for abatement cost recovery. Support Service Director Gain. Doug Lloyd.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
You can read it after he talks.
That's fine.
I'm gonna let you talk, then I'm gonna let him read the.
All right. This is regarding the non-ad valorem code assessments being placed on the county tax bill. These are unpaid abatements that the city had to pay out of pocket, plus interest and administrative costs for filing the liens. These abatements are for cutting the grass and junk and debris removal. It's for vacant residential properties and vacant commercial lots. We have only 3 on there, so they range from $526 to $1,195. So there's pleasantly, like I said, 3 properties that will need to be assessed to recover the cost of abatement performed by the city. The owners of each of these properties were notified by first-class mail of the non-ad valorem assessment and of this scheduled public hearing. Staff recommends the commission certify the code enforcement abatement assessment tax roll for the properties that have not fully reimbursed the city.
All righty, yes, sir.
A resolution of the City of Ocoee, Florida, City Commission relating to the collection of unpaid liens from code enforcement abatement actions throughout the City of Ocoee, stating the purpose of such efforts, providing definitions, endorsing the uniform method of assessing abatement costs against assessed properties located within the City of Ocoee, approving the non-ad valorem assessment roll for fiscal year 2024, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Do we need to open that one? We need to open this one?
Yes.
I'll open. All right, I'm gonna open the public hearing for this. Any comments on number 15 for the annual code enforcement abatement assessment? We'll go close the public hearing, bring it back, and I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the code enforcement abatement assessment resolution.
Motion made by Commissioner Kennedy for item number 15 for the adopt the annual code enforcement abatement assessment. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Hart. No more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Wilson absent.
Thank you.
All right, we're down to the regular agenda. Discussion and direction regarding the 100-year anniversary of Ocoee becoming a township. Assistant City Manager Shadrick.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the commission, Craig Shadrick, Assistant City Manager. If we could take a couple moments, I have a display set up that's being brought in, and I'm kidding. This is really just, this is a fun item. I'm glad I got to bring this item forward. The mayor brought up at the last meeting that we had received a proclamation from, I believe it was Florida League of Cities, commemorating Ocoee's designation as a township in 1923. So the mayor brought that up to the commission. The commission all seemed excited about it, and the next natural, logical step is to, let's celebrate that. So we're coming back to ask for some specific direction because the city became a city in 1925. So we have 2 dates to commemorate, and so the first question that I need some feedback from the commission on is with respect to Ocoee becoming a township in 1923 and then the township being abolished and the city becoming a city in 1925. Do you want to treat one of those a little lighter than the other? And then if so, how big of a party are we wanting to throw here in celebration of the 1923 item versus the 1925 item? Because as you all are well aware, the clock is ticking. We want to be able to give adequate attention and direction to bringing back what that plan is. So we would like to get some feedback from you on kind of how much you're willing to spend here, how do you envision this, and maybe encourage you to discuss it amongst yourselves.
All right. Commissioners, comments?
Is there a staff recommendation or suggestion?
That's what I hoped they were going to do.
Well, I'm happy to give you one.
Please.
1923 is important because it put Ocoee on the map. However, we're not a town anymore, we're a city. So my recommendation professionally would be we do a more subtle, abbreviated celebration of the 1923 designation, and then in 1925, which has since been used on grant applications and referred to in many official city documents, we throw the party of the century.
Yeah,
That's my recommendation.
all right.
Thank you.
Mayor, I had the feeling that if Commissioner Wilson were here, she would want to convey that her idea would be to have some type of celebration in November, possibly on a Saturday morning. Nothing, maybe something for a couple of hours, and then budget for and have a much larger celebration in 2 years. I believe that's what she would be interested in
That's
doing.
what I thought too. Okay, is that okay with everybody else?
Yeah, because we don't really have time to get something really big together, so like making this one in 2023, the pre-party, and get ready for the main party in 2025. As long as I don't have to sing. You don't want me to sing.
And
Commissioner Firstner?
I agree with Commissioner Hart.
All right. And so that community staff's going to work on that and do that. You okay with that, Scott?
Absolutely.
All right, Rob?
Yeah, well, probably, since we're gonna be having a budget workshop tomorrow night,
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all wanna think of, what kind of dollars we wanna throw at something for November.
Yeah.
But something to think about and be ready for
Okay.
tomorrow.
So we don't need to vote on this. Can we get a consensus?
Yeah, I think we know where to go with it, if that's a consensus.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
What a great job there, City Manager. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, how about that? We're down to comments from commissioners. Limit to 5 minutes. Commissioner Firstner.
Tricked me there. School's back in. Be very careful of the number of students out on the road. Pay attention to the crossing guards and all the other people that are assisting with getting them back and forth to school. And it's extremely hot out there. I don't have to explain that to anyone. If you have to work outside or you spend a lot of time outside, take the necessary precautions to protect yourself. Stay fully hydrated, take a break more often than normal, and just don't overdo it. I mean, it's pretty miserable out there. That's about all I have.
All right, how about that? Commissioner Hart?
Amen. I echo what Commissioner Firstner said about the heat. It's very dangerous. I lived here all my life, and this is a different heat. This is an Arizona heat mixed with some Florida humidity. So, I always tell my daughter, sit down before you fall down. So let's be wise with our physical beings, our well-beings. We don't want to overrush the hospitals. I'm a little disappointed. We had our HRDB meeting this week, and we didn't meet quorum. I've had a lot of people try to get on boards. Once again, so proud of our board for the charter review that came through, but a lot of times we're not meeting quorum. And then the issue was brought up about the change in the teaching of history in the state of Florida, and the question was asked, well, will the commission stand behind what the board does? And the answer is yes. We're going to move forward what we've been doing. We're going to keep doing what we've been doing. We're going to promote equality. We're going to promote history and what has happened and how we're dealing with it in the future. So nothing has changed. I still think Ocoee is a beacon of hope for the rest of the country. If they can learn from Ocoee and pattern that everywhere else, this would be a much better place. Once again, I love Ocoee. I plan to spend the rest of my life here. It's been very good to me. I'm up here serving, trying to give back to the community that gave to me, given so much to me. That's why I'm up here. That is my sole purpose, to try to make this a better place. So once again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve. If I can be of service to you, please reach out. Call the office or call me or text message or however you want to do it. I'll do the best I can to try to take care of your concerns. And once again, I don't deal with complaints, I deal with concerns. We work for you. And if you have a concern, I want to do my best to try to at least point you in the right direction if I can't solve it myself. So once again, take care of each other, be patient with all men, take your time on the roads, and let's just have a great time in the wonderful city that we call home. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Mr. Hart. Mr. Kennedy?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to agree with Commissioner Hart's comments about the HRDB. I agree completely. Thank you. Well said. The only thing I want to highlight tonight, you know, I've been focused on traffic and congestion in District 1, and I've been, I guess we won't call it harassment, but I've been persistent with staff, and there's been a lot of good progress on North Lakewood, and we're hoping to get that complete very soon. That is fundamental to a lot of the problems in District 1. We want to get that open, see if the traffic patterns improve, and then address Adair, et cetera. And I know it's been a long wait, but we're finally really getting progress, so I'm very pleased, and I want to thank staff for that, your staff. That's all I have.
Oh, okay, thank you. Man, I just want to make a comment about what Commissioner Hart was saying. I want to say that the diversity board in the city of Ocoee has got revamped, but it will get to where it's got to be with the members. But everybody forgets that Ocoee has had a diversity board for 20 years, right, Bill? And I mean, somewhere in that area. So we're one of the only cities in the county that has a diversity board. Right. That's right. So we've been trying, we've been working at it, and I think Bill, Ms. Hart, we've got people that have worked on that board that's gone out of the way to make sure things go the way they're supposed to. We've done a great job, and I hate taking flack over the diversity board because it's something that everybody needs to pay attention to, and we all try to. And we get accused sometimes that we don't, but we do. And I think that's what the problem is. They don't realize it is a good place here. You come here and you'll find out if you go to that board. Get on the board. If you want to be on the board, we got an opening. But realize that it is something that's going to be around forever. We're not going to, you know, it don't go away, the thought processes, but we want to make it where it does. You can understand what we're doing here and what we're trying to do. This is a place where people get along. It's where I wouldn't want to go anywhere else. Like Commissioner Hart said, I've had people say, why don't you're not moving? I said, no, I'm not moving anywhere. I'll be right where I'm at till I'm gone. So this town is a great place, and I get charged sometimes from saying Winter Garden too, but it's communities that are great out here. You take Windermere, Ocoee, Oakland, and Winter Garden and all of us, it's a great place. And there's good people out here, and that's what we want. The other thing is, I want to bring up Christmas. We were, and Rob, I didn't bring that form tonight. I know Commissioner Kenya had it, and Commissioner Wilson. Okay.
I got it twice.
How do we do that? We need somebody to start looking at that, because that's
So
what
you
we
mean
want to
the-
do it. And that jamboree that
The
Commissioner.
light displays, there were several different
Yes,
ones. I know
but the one is the one all of us looked at.
the Santa hat,
Huh?
the Santa hat one,
One out of,
where you can walk through it.
Huh?
Was it the light display with?
They got all
the-
kinds.
Yeah.
But then you lease them. They'll even do the lights on the poles,
Yeah.
which I think that's something. we
Okay,
should look at.
that's just something we would need to budget for,
Well, I
and,
know, but we need to go over and look at it and see what you think money-wise. We could, I mean, you can put 20,000, 30,000, all the way up, but they will come set it up, fix it. And with that new jamboree, Christmas jamboree thing that Commissioner Wilson,
yeah.
that is what we need to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
I-
they're out of.
I think that at least 3 of you were interested in that.
Well,
so
yeah,
I'm-
yeah.
I'm pretty
I don't-
sure
I don't
that's
know.
something we could do.
Did you get to see it, Commissioner Hart?
I didn't get to see it.
They also do the polls, like what we've been doing, and half of them don't work and stuff like that, so we can look at all of it.
Got it.
But I just think that'd be a good way to go, you know, and, the other thing is, I don't say, the people didn't come here about the school thing, but I've been getting a lot of, flack on, Facebook and WhatsApp app, or whatever you wanna call it, about the school, Ocoee Middle School and Ocoee Elementary. Folks, that's the same thing that's there, and it's been there, and it's gonna keep being there. We all have to have a little calmness about that and come up with solutions and wait, let somebody go, not go, but I've got some pretty peculiar emails about the thought process and about us not doing it, but the police is working on it. I talked to Chief Sama. She's working on that. It always starts when school starts off, there's a problem. So we're working on that to get it solved. I will say that I don't really appreciate the county school board as much, because they should be part of what the problem solving is with that. Because we're paying them the money, And then they come out and put all that in here, and then we sit there with nobody to watch what they're doing. Then we gotta hire extra people to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I have a problem with that. I think we need to write them a letter and say, they have their own police department now. They should be out there helping us do some of that at these schools. Especially where we have a situation at Ocoee Middle and Ocoee Elementary, it's all jammed in. So I think we all need to take a little coolness about it and work. I know the comments about taxes, we pay a lot of taxes. We don't really, if you look at what we pay compared to other people. There's a lot of things that happen in the city that taxes pay for, not just directing school bus traffic. So I think we need to tell the county there ought to be somewhere that we can organize this thing to help take. We're having to take police off the main roads to go out and do this. So that also takes for unsafety reasons around town too. We don't want to do that.
Could certainly draft a letter for the commissioner. I've brought that up with the school resource officers with the county. Since you've all started your own police department now, then perhaps
Yeah.
you want to staff your schools. And but they always tell us as well, we only have like 12 employees. So, you know, it's an exercise in futility. I don't know that they're going to be expanding. They've got their base people who I guess are more interested in training. They do some training at schools and things like that. But from what we've seen, they're not staffing up to take over the responsibility for school resource officers or crossing guards or anything like that.
All right, well, I still think that tell them they ought to be able, and the system, I don't know if they get with us beforehand or we get with them before the school starts about that direction of traffic off. It is a quagmire there on Lafayette and Lakewood.
Yeah, I spoke briefly with the chief this morning. I got my first email that there was something going on over there that was upsetting some of the residents this morning. So it was the first time that I could take a look at it.
Yeah. All right, we'll look. All right, I want to thank the citizens that was here earlier. They're all gone, but it was nice to have a group that would come in and be in a cordial way and have one person speak. Because we've had them come in and speak 35 people at a time. They were well advised. They were well advised by Commissioner Kennedy. So we appreciate that very much, and you let them know that. It's good, great. We want everybody to be able to speak their piece, but you can do it in a different way. And we also want to thank our new firm, Dominic and Fishback, or Fishback and Dominic?
Fishback Domino.
Okay. All right, we want to appreciate.
Fish sticks and dominoes.
Yeah. Hey, that's pretty good. All right, so we thank everybody for being here tonight. We'll see you in, what? 1 month. 1 month. Woo.
1 month.
Good job, Aaron.